Hey, I'm sorry I was a little bit confusing yesterday. I was trying to be helpful. I love teaching the summer class. I get paid for it. And usually we have class meetings, but I realized that, we all have different schedules in the summer. So this year I just did a straight online class, and I guess I feel a little guilty, you know, that I'm not required to really do anything. So my goal is to post videos most mornings to say stuff. I'm available. All you have to do is send me an email and say, hey, when can we meet? I can meet you in the virtual classroom, or I can meet you right here on Zoom. I was having a little trouble getting my Zoom to work because the college bought me a brand new computer. So yeah, gee, they're letting me teach this great class. They bought me a computer. Let's just say things at Duchess have been pretty good. But it wasn't all set up right, and I couldn't do screen shares. So I'm gonna go ahead and record this video. I'm gonna post it on YouTube and post a link so that everybody can see it. So step one, yesterday, I really like you to sit down and read a whole screenplay the first day, and really get a sense of like how screenplays are structured, how the story is told. And I posted a bunch on the discussion boards about what the story beats are, what to look for as I was reading. I've never read Get Out. I saw the movie before. I saw the movie, when it came out, but I haven't read the screenplay. Most people don't read the screenplay. It's sort of like, hey, I saw the Empire State Building. I didn't look at the blueprints. So the screenplay is the structural part of what tells the story in a movie. It introduces the characters, introduces a central theme, sets things in motion. Sometimes the character makes a decision that they're going to do something and go somewhere. I respect that Jordan Peele is a hot director right now, and he knows how to attract people to come and see his movies. I've gone to see, I went to see Get Out. I went to see his newer movie called Nope. But he's breaking a few of the rules, I think. To me, the inciting incident at the beginning of the first, in the middle of the first act, around page 13, in this film, it's the killing of the deer. And Chris is a passive passenger in the car. The inciting incident is usually something where the main character is somewhat passive. Something happens in their external world, and we see that things are going to start. I don't know if hitting the deer is really the inciting incident, but screenwriting wise, that's the incident that's happening there. It shows Rose interacting with police. It just sort of shows how much Rose is in control of the situation. They're going to meet her parents. She's driving. She's yelling at the cops. She's doing this. And Chris is kind of passively observing these things. A lot of the time in screenwriting, we have setups and payoffs. There was an opportunity in that interaction for Chris to make an ally. If one of the cops was Black, African-American, and if the two of them had chatted a little bit, then when Chris was stuck at the house later with all these racists, he might have known that there was somebody on the police force that was sympathetic to him. So there are things that we talk about things in screenwriting called setups and payoffs. So a lot of the time in the first act, you're setting things up. You're setting up an ally. Like for Chris, the big ally in the world is his friend. I think of him as a cousin, Rod, who works for the TSA. So he's somebody who works in law enforcement. He has a job. He wears a uniform, which doesn't hurt, to have somebody out there. And even though he really can't get the police on his side, this is Rod, to say that he's got a theory that something's going on up there. He doesn't really know, but he's figured out a lot. When he comes in at the end, he's going to help. He's going to, that alliance is going to help Chris at the end. Thematically, listen to your friends. I think Kaylee came up with this. Listen to Rod. Friends are really important. And, I say this a lot when I'm at Duchess, because my friends from college are the most important people in my life. And the older you get, your parents die, you got to rely on your friends more. So I always worry that if it's an online class, you don't have as many opportunities to communicate with each other, but try to use this class to communicate with each other. Use the discussion boards to post your ideas, to talk to each other, to reply to each other. I was on the discussion board yesterday. I couldn't figure out how to reply to Kaylee. So yeah, don't be afraid to reply to each other, because you never know. 10 years from now, a couple of you might be working on a television show in Hollywood. You might be, I have friends from my screenwriting days that call me all the time and ask me for ideas on scripts. So, number one, what do you get out of class? Motivation to write. So more than anything, this class should motivate you to write. Number two, this class should teach you about how the structure and format of screenwriting. The cool thing about teaching screenwriting, it's really structured and it's really formatted. Movies are supposed to be 2 hours long. Movies are supposed to have one main character who is a perspective character, who's a point of view character that we see the world through. I'm not even screen sharing. And you got to get to some kind of a major climax where something changes. So a lot of people ask me, oh, can I write something for television? And television's pretty cool, but when you're storytelling something that's going to be 12 to 20 hours long, it's hard to know how the character is going to change. Whereas in 2 hours, we're going to see what we call an arc, So your character doesn't have to be a hero at the beginning. Chris is a little bit passive. Chris is letting this woman make a decision. But at some point, his passivity has to break. It's like, hey, I am mentally in a dark place. I am tied to a chair. How much more passive am I going to get? I've got to take control of my life. So, I think we can look at Get Out as metaphors that reflect the society we live in, a society where white people might value Black bodies more than Black minds, like Serena Williams and Tiger Woods and all these, amazing athletes. But then we also have to think about it in terms of what we call the growth of the protagonist. So what happens to Chris over the course of the movie? He activates. Is Rose the most perfect girlfriend in the world? Not just that she's kind of bossy, but what is the relationship based on? What do I know about relationships? I live with a dog. Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with living with a dog, honey. But all right. I don't think I am going to do a screen share. I think I'm just going to leave that this morning. So no meetings are required. It's an online class. I'm going to be as helpful and around as I can. I can drop into the classroom and meet with you. Maybe I should just show you where the classroom is. Let's see if I can do share screen. Share. Right. Log in. What are you barking about? All right. So if you do ever want to meet me in the classroom, virtual classroom, I'll have it. I guess okay, so it says 7/10/23. Maybe I should change this. Edit. I'm going to change this to 7/11/23. Okay. Save. So that means at 4 o'clock today, I'm going to be available to meet with you guys. And to get in there, it would be launch, join. It won't let us join. Anyhow, that's where it is. So at 4 o'clock today, I'll be in the Screenwriters Cafe. I call it the Screenwriters Cafe because in Hollywood, Screenwriters hang out in cafes. People like to think that writing is something that people do all by themselves, and it's not. Writers hang out with other writers. We talk all the time. We're always sharing ideas. We write together. And oftentimes in Los Angeles, we do it in cafes, or, I'm sure in New York they do it too, although I think in New York, you have to order more. All right, so Screenwriters Cafe Wednesday. Oh, that's today. Is it today? I'm confused. Wednesday at 10 o'clock. No, that's not going to happen. Screenwriters Cafe. Let's see, Tuesday. Edit. I switched it to 9. Right? No, I didn't switch it to 9. I didn't switch the date either. Wait. Tuesday. Okay. Time. 10. Oops. Oops. I'm going to make it 9. All right. Save. All right. So at 9 o'clock, I'll be in the cafe. I won't stay there for that long unless anybody shows up. But if you want to show up, I said 9 a.m. today and then 4 a.m. today. So I'm making meetings. Then there are videos here that supposedly you can watch. I made them, some of them, months ago. That's how much I love this class. All right, so that's for today. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you need to know. Screen sharing. Let's go to content. All right. Welcome to the class. Here's me talking about the syllabus. This is the video of the syllabus. It's kind of annoying. I don't think that's going to really work. Hi there. This is the discussion board. Oh my God. I put the midpoint here. Hi, I'm your teacher. So you can post here to introduce yourself to other students in the class, to talk a little bit about what you think you might want to write. And for some reason, I accidentally did my midpoint thing here. Edit thread. Let's see, edit, cut. Date. Right there. No. Update. This is required. Cancel. All right. Delete. Yes. All right. Now, what was I talking about? Let's go back to contents. Welcome to the class. Just in case you haven't figured out where the screenplay is yet. Read Get Out. All right. So here's the screenplay, Get Out by Jordan Peele. All right. You can see the title page just has the title, Jordan's name on it. He starts with a quote over black, and then he has what I would call kind of a teaser scene. Blake Snyder calls this your opening image. So in the opening image, this young guy named Andre is in a white, rich suburb. He's talking to his friends on the phone, and he's scared. And then all of a sudden, a fancy car comes up, and he gets kidnapped. And then the title is like, Get Out. All right. Then we come and we get introduced to our main character. So Jordan Peele kind of made a smart decision here. He said, hey, I want to have an opening image that establishes the story, but I can't do that with my main character, Chris, because Chris is going away for the weekend with his girlfriend. And there's really nothing in Chris's world that's going to reveal, the idea, the image of my story. So I'm going to start with sort of a little prequel here, setting up someone who's been kidnapped by these basically body snatchers. I feel like I had another name for them. But they're essentially body snatchers. These are people who are going to take your young body and do something with it, kidnap you, and steal your youth, strength, physicality. So then we come to Chris. So our opening scene is what we call a point of view shift, and it's giving us some information to tell the story. It's not really in the point of view, although we're in the point of view of Andre in the scene. We don't see the evildoer, the knight, you know, in a mask or whatever. And then we come to Chris and Rose. So we're establishing the relationship between these two characters and the central themes of race, racism, white liberals are kind of being introduced. And at the end of the scene, he looks on TV and there's a commercial playing for the United Negro College Fund. Wait, where is it? That says, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." Blake Snyder, the writer of your book. So, you know, the book's pretty good. I did put like Cliff Notes for the book online. Somebody said that they couldn't buy the book, and I did happen to have Cliff Notes. So there are Cliff Notes there. If you haven't bought the book yet, you're like, who's Blake? The most important thing that I'll talk about in the book is page 70, his outline. In screenwriting, we talk in terms of beats. Every scene in the movie has a beat in it. Something happens. There's two kinds of beats. There's beats that reveal character and beats that push the plot forward, right? So the opening scene pushes the plot forward. The scenes between Rose and Chris reveal character. So we get a little bit of a sense of what she's like and what he's like. He puts on the TV. Nope. Where is it? Okay, Get Out. Then we have Rose and Chris. Notice how short. So the first scenes are kind of long. We're getting a sense of the world, suburbs. Chris isn't there. He's in the city. But the danger part of the movie is going to take place in the suburbs. So we get a little sense of the suburbs. Your opening scene shouldn't be dialogue driven, even though Andre's on the phone. Your opening scene should really be what Blake says, an image. You know, I'm not a huge devotee of Blake Snyder, but I will say that I think when it comes to some of these ideas like theme stated and opening image and closing image, these are pretty good ideas. Don't start with your characters talking immediately, blah, 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 blah. Think about movie as a visual medium. Show us who the character is. How do we know who they are? So we start sunrises, clean apartment. So at the very beginning, Chris is looking in the mirror in the bathroom. He's looking at himself in the mirror. This is a classic scene that's used in a lot of movies, where essentially the main character looks in the mirror and sees his reflection. He's looking at himself. Here he's looking at himself thinking, hey, I'm looking pretty good, feeling good about himself. Sometimes we say in movies, like, if things start good, they're going to get bad. If things start bad, they're going to get good. And some of this is about arc. So he's looking at himself in the mirror. But the main thing that happens is when he looks in the mirror, we look in the mirror. So what happens is that mirror reflection that's coming back of Chris, that's a mirror reflection that I'm seeing. So in other words, the director is using a mirror to say, this is you now. For this movie, your point of view is going to be this main character. You're going to see the world through Chris's eyes. You're going to sympathize with Chris. You know, some people think, oh, well, I'm a girl, I'm going to sympathize with Rose. I'm sorry, no. You know, the main character is your point of view character. We traditionally in film, we believe that viewers want to have a vicarious experience. They want to experience the feeling of being a hero. They want to experience the feeling of overcoming obstacles, which Chris is going to have to do, of, you know, gauging a situation and saying, man, I would have been out of there so soon. You know, think about it. I know I'm pretty good at running away from things. You know, there are definitely moments in this thing where, you know, Rod is saying to Chris, get out, get out. Andre says, get out. And Chris is like, how the heck do I get out? I don't even have a car. What am I going to do? Run through the woods? Run through the woods. You know, so these are things that we learn from movies. It's like, would I stay in the haunted house? No, I would leave. Would I stay, you know, whatever. So we learn from the experience of the hero, you know, in case we're ever in a situation with, you know, dangerous body snatchers, we'll think, man, what did Chris do? What am I going to do? How the hell am I going to get out of here? Get out, you know? So anyhow, he looks in the mirror, he sees his reflection. It's also our reflection. You're him. So think in your movie, you're not writing about your character from the outside. We're not condemning a character. We're not just showing a character doing something. Viewers want to feel like they are that character. Like, you know, I like Kung Fu movies. Why? I'm not so good at Kung Fu, but when I'm watching Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, I feel like, hey, I can do all this kicking and jumping and gymnastics and stuff. You know, why do you watch a Superman movie? Because you think, man, I wish I could fly. Otherwise, you know, Superman's kind of a dog. Okay. So Chris is shaving. He's got a little dog. I identify. The book that we have for this class is called Save the Cat. Save the Cat is Blake Snyder's concept that you always want your character to do something nice and merciful and kind at the beginning that makes us say, hey, our character's a pretty good guy. Usually our character is the good guy. You know, rarely you have a character like American Psycho who's really a bad guy and we are in his head. And some people love that. I don't love that. But usually we're the good guy. So, you know, that's traditionally how we do it. But, you know, you can break the rules. I know a lot of people say, I got to break these rules. But I'm a rule breaker. And, you know, screenwriting rules, I don't mind following sometimes because they give you a map, you know. Not that you guys have ever used a map. But, all right. So he's got a little dog he takes care of. He turns on the TV for his dog. You know, he loves his little dog. He's a nice guy. And he's talking about, so I'm going to meet her parents. Has she told them anything about him? No. Oh, God, where is this thing? A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Oh, there we go. Commercial United College Negro Fund, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. That's theme stated, page 8. So there were times in screenwriting books that like on page 5, you have to do this. On page 10, you have to do this. All right. That's a little formulaic. But for the most part, by page 10 or page 12, I want things to set in action. You know, I don't want to just have a movie where a guy and a girl are talking in a car. Things have to happen. For the most part, scenes are only about a page. So if you're writing a scene, you're up to page 7, you have to think about what's the thing that's happening in the scene. Can I get them out of the car and move to the next thing? And how do you know you can get them out of the car and move to the next thing? Nothing in the car is a beat, you know? So in the car, one of the things that happens is she's trying to get him to stop smoking, which is going to become a big thing that happens later. Another thing that happens in the car, they hit the deer. So there are 2 beats in the car. And even if it's continuously in the car, you know, rural road day, a new scene starts and we're in a different part, interior Rose's car. So you can cut ahead in the car. You can have things a little different. You know, maybe Chris has fallen asleep. Maybe Rose is looking out the window. Maybe they're in a different part of the world. All right, I'm going to wrap up here. Okay, so this is reading the screenplay. Make sure you post in the discussion board. I have to do something called a census this week that says whether or not you're participating in the class. So I need you to do at least something. Post on Hi There, post on Let's Talk About the Beats. I posted a lot, you know, but that doesn't mean I'm right about everything. All right. Let's see.